Massage therapist or masseuses, have you ever had a session turn sexual with a client? How did it go down? Not my story, but a coworker's. He was giving a massage to a client and things were getting flirty. She was an attractive woman and he pushed it. Well, I guess he sucked at reading clues because she was married and was being friendly. She filed a complaint on him and he ended up losing his license. Happened to a former friend of mine. Misread some signs, or created imaginary signs in his mind, tried to escalate the massage by massaging a more intimate area. She shut it down and called the cops. He ended up being convicted of some degree of sexual assault for the attempted or actual digital penetration. Sentenced to a year in a workhouse and pretty much lost everything in his life. My mom and dad ran their own massage therapy business. My mom always said if a guy started giving any kind of signals that she would just start asking him about his mother. She said it never failed her. I'm a massage therapy student. That's literally what our textbooks said to do. Oh, I have a story as a client. I used to live in a great city located in Southern California. Across the street where I lived was a massage parlor ran out of an old historic home. I used to frequent as much as I could afford and things were great, or so I thought. I had never been to a masseuse before then and thought big tubs, showers, and champagne was normal since it was the only point of reference I had. After each session the ladies frequently asked me if I needed anything else or wanted to extend. Being very budget conscious, I'd say no thank you. It was great though. I'd get dressed and go home. On my last occasion though, things just felt off. She had me flip from my stomach and massaged my quads and let her fingers drift a little and would ask me if I wanted anything more. I'd sheepishly reply no. This is great. Thank you. As we finished, she asked me one more time if I'd like anything else, but I declined. A few weeks later I'm walking home from work and the police are all over my street. As many of you have already guessed, they were busting the place for being a known brothel. I tiptoed back home and waited for them to come to my house and bust me, but thankfully that never happened. My mom is a massage therapist. She has worked at several chiropractic offices. Oftentimes, if you're good enough and trustworthy enough, chiropractors will give you the keys so you can see clients on the weekends. I once had to take an Uber to her work when she was scheduled to massage this one guy. He was married and new to the US. He had been sending messages to my mom, which made her question his intent, but chalked it up to him not speaking a lot of English. I get a call from her telling me to Uber to her place of work as soon as possible. Apparently the guy had sent a message with this code phrase that in the massage world means things are going to become sexual. So I'm the first to arrive. My mom gets there and tries to downplay the situation to make herself feel better by saying things like, well, maybe he just didn't know what that meant. I could be drawing a conclusion that isn't true. He has a wife after all. Man comes in with candy and flowers. He sees me sitting in the chair really confused. Hands them to my mom. She massages him. He pays her. Gives me a sideways glance, and leaves. My mom was a massage therapist for a few years. Never shared if/when she had issues like that, but there was one couple who would come in for separate sessions about every 2 to 3 weeks. Apparently one day, the wife jokes that the massages are better than sex. My mom, since they're all on good terms, jokes with the husband about it the next time he's in. He pulls his head out of the pillow long enough to say, "Don't make me choose, I can't choose." Edit. He was saying he couldn't choose between sex with his wife versus a massage from my mom. I was totally expecting this to take a turn somewhere and I'm glad it didn't. Former esthetician here. Not a masseuse, but I performed waxing on all parts of the body, so I certainly have a story or two. So, there's the Brazilian wax, which is everything gone from your downstairs, front and back. Salons have a male version they cheekily like to call manzillion. I've had a number of these, and without fail, when it comes time to take the towel away and start, there's at least a semi-chub going on. I'd explain that this happens with everyone, as penises aren't very self-aware, they just know they're out, there's a lady, and they're just happy to be there. I then place my first strip of wax, let it set, then RIP, and it would be like letting the air out of a balloon. Strangely, I never got any phone numbers. Oh, and to do your butthole you have to be on all fours. I had a client start flirting with me while on my table. I reminded her that the session is purely medical and I'd like to keep the conversation about her and what she's dealing with. She stroked my leg once in a sexual manner and I threatened to end the session there if she tried something like that again. After that, the rest of her session was smooth. I take stuff like that pretty seriously. I'm not setting our profession back 30 years because some people think someone touching them means anything sexual. This was after a few years of no sexual anything with anyone, but regardless, I'm not throwing away years of hard work and risking a lawsuit over someone feeling frisky. I'm a family physician, and I've had female patients hit on me before. It's not as flattering as one might imagine. In fact, it puts me very much on edge. Lady, you don't know me, and you're not in love with me, you know, and are smitten with a professional role I play. So the chance that your flirting is a trap to get something from me, or at the very least is misguided, is quite high. Fucking a patient is the quickest way to lose your medical license. If you think I'd put my hard-won career and my marriage on the line for a bit of fun, I must look a lot dumber than I am. A guy I know ended up dating his chiropractor. There was mild flirting for a few sessions, and then she messaged him to say that he would need to switch to getting treated by a different chiro at the practice. He was pretty disappointed until she hinted, because we aren't allowed to date our clients. Few weeks later, so, babe, Dr. Steven doesn't do that inner quad massage that you used to do. Was that? Yup. Totes inappropriate. 10 would injure back again. Yo, I'm a massage therapist, and I just want to say that it is not inappropriate to massage all of a leg, as long as proper draping is maintained. Meaning anything I'm not massaging is covered with a securely tucked sheet and I stay on my side of the sheet and mind my damn business. I massage that are pretty frequently on athletes, especially cyclists, and people who have recently had to alter their gait, like learning to walk with a cane or completing physical therapy. Just curious, is an ethics class part of the coursework when getting your massage license? In the US anyways, yes. But that only matters if you want to get or maintain a license. If you want a quick buck, or fug, then it doesn't matter. That's just called prostitution or rape, depending. In 15 years, I've had 4 guys try to turn the session sexual. Grosses me out. I make sure to give their name and phone number to all of my therapist friends as a heads up because if they tried with me, they're gonna try another therapist until they get lucky. I'm a physiotherapist, but I have extensive training in deep tissue massage and dry needling. Pretty much every time I treat my girlfriend it ends with sex. Probably the closest thing to a answer you're gonna get. You're probably not gonna hear any stories about people with licenses doing anything sexual with someone as if it ever got out they would immediately lose their billing number. But I will say I've worked in a gym before where the RMT was sleeping with a few of his patients in and outside of the gym. My mom's a masseuse and she says there are a lot of instances where clients try to make things sexual but she never reciprocate, but it can get pretty nasty. One time she told me that a dude asked her to massage down there and she refused, so he grabbed her boob and just kept his hand there for a while, and my mom didn't know what to do, so she just kept doing her job. There are also instances of people calling to make appointments and ending the call with "do you guys suck it?" because I guess they think they're being subtle. Other than that, there's a lot of unnecessarily sexual moaning, but my mom just thinks that's funny. Edit. Okay, to everyone saying that they've moaned during a massage, I'm not talking about regular moaning. There's a level of that in most of my mom's clients and it's not a big deal like it happens. My mom's immune to it by now. What I'm talking about is like a couple of times people moan so loud that the entire store hears, and sometimes they'll get an erection, happens more often than you'd think tbh, and say something that's the equivalent of "Are you going to do anything about this?" And when my mom is like "Nah," they tip her terribly. Everyone who gets a massage and moans, "You guys are fine." Most of my mom's coworkers see it as a compliment to their skills. So I used to work at this massage in Florida. It wasn't anything fancy, but it did the job. And we had a couple regulars that would come in maybe once a week. So this one regular that always asked for me came in one day and we started the usual small talk while I was preparing my things. And he says that he just recently got out of a really bad marriage. Our massage place isn't one that does happy endings, but I've given a hand job to a client before. So this guy isn't bad looking, maybe 7/10, good job, nice car. He always tips nice. So towards the end of the massage he asks if he could get extra. I was confused at first and said, "You can always get a shampoo or go in our massage chair for extra $1." He said, "No, I mean, can you do something extra?" At this point I know what he meant and I smirked. So he flipped over to lay on his back and face me and I went to whisper in his ear Epstein didn't kill himself.